Hey guys, Freedom here. Those of you that are smiling right now, I obviously know who you're voting for. And those of you that are repulsed by these very images, and you're about ready to hit the dislike button, I mean, feel free, but please just watch the video and hear me out. Now, I know a lot of anti-gun people smash the Constitution or the Second Amendment, stating it was written a very long time ago by people that use different language and, is left open to interpretation. I kind of laugh every time I hear somebody say that. Because if you know why the Constitution was written, then you know there was no interpretation. The Constitution was written for a bunch of people who were tired of having their rights, their freedom, their liberty stolen from them. They said they had enough, so they wanted to do something about it. Knowing that, the Second Amendment is pretty straightforward. It's not meant to bend, twist, or turn. It's pretty straightforward what they were doing and why they were doing it. Now, that being said, another thing a lot of people like to do is state, well, our founding fathers had no way of envisioning the semi-automatic weapons you see in front of you, or some of the other weapons that can do a lot of damage. And you know what? That's very true. They had muskets. They couldn't have seen the quote-unquote mass casualties these weapons can cause people. But a lot of people seem to forget they had sticks of dynamite. It was 100% easy and legal to own. Just ask Timothy McVeigh, who never fired a shot and killed more people. How deadly the firearm was. I don't want to get into a pissing contest with anyone. I just want to put out a few, I'm going to call them facts. And if anybody disagrees and wants to, give me their side, that's fine. But the weapons in front of you are inanimate objects. And here's a great quote. There are no good guns. There are no bad guns. Any guns in the hand of a bad man is a bad thing. But any gun in the hand of a decent person is a threat to no one except a bad man. And that was by Charlton Heston. And that is such a true statement. You could take all the guns away in this country, and bad people are still going to do bad things and hurt good people. The positive thing about having guns in this country is you may be against firearms and not have them in your home, and you're my neighbor, but if something bad happens, who's the first person you're going to run to? Are you going to try to call the cops, or are you going to run next door to someone that you know can help take care of you and won't be 10 minutes away if you're lucky? An armed society is a polite society, and I truly believe that. I don't think open carry should be for everyone or every state. But again, go to your local votes with your congressmen, your mayors, your locals, and what the majority of the public agrees on should be law. I don't see why that's so difficult to understand. But the problem is a lot of people say, I don't like guns. Well, because they grew up and their parents never had a gun in their home. And they were told by their parents that guns are evil and people die by them. Well, then you can be raised in a family like I was, that guns were all over the place. I was shooting guns since I was 5 years old. Never harmed anybody. I respect my firearms. I know how to use my firearms, which is very important. Because someone who owns a firearm and has no clue what they're doing is more dangerous than a bad person, in my opinion. But I do think, proper training should be shared with everyone. But when it comes down to it, do I think all the firearms we're legally allowed to own in this country are necessary? No, I don't. Do I think we need 100-round Betamags to mount under our ARs? No, I don't think it's necessary at all. But you know what? It is our right, and we are allowed to have them. So more power to you. I own, a few of them myself. Is it excessive? Sure. But it's fun. Those of you that have never shot, handled, or been around guns, you have no way to understand that. And that's fine. I respect your judgment, but you should respect ours. And stop fighting to take these weapons away from us in this country. Now for me, how should we decide what guns we're allowed to have in this country and what guns we're not? I think there's a real easy way to decide that. You obviously can't own what our military can own, because that would just be a little ridiculous in my opinion. People walking around with 40mm grenade launchers. Yeah, I don't think that's really a smart move. But if our police department is allowed to own ARs and Glocks with high capacity mags, I feel we should be allowed to. Now that's not saying anybody should have a shootout with the police department. But part of the way the Constitution, the Second Amendment, and everything was written is we as a people have the right to defend ourselves. Well, how are you going to defend yourself with a bolt-action 5-shot rifle when other people have these? You're not. The only way you're going to be able to is if you own these too. So that's why I feel what our police department is allowed to have, we're allowed to have. As far as our military, that's a tough and difficult subject. I don't think most people are responsible enough to own some of the stuff our military has. But this is going to go towards the people saying that, well, again, the Second Amendment, it's up for interpretation. Right to bear arms. Well, you can bear a club or a bat or a knife. Well, here's one of my favorite quotes of all time. A free people ought not only be able to be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a state of independence from anyone who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government. I'm going to read that one more time and listen to what it says. A free people ought not only be able to be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammunition. Now, sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a state of independence and liberty is not a single-shot .22 rifle and a 10-round magazine. Okay? From anyone who might attempt to abuse them, which would include their own government. This was written by George Washington. Now, there is no room for interpretation. That's a pretty straightforward blanketed statement. And I'm going to read it one more time because I love it so much. A free people ought not only be armed and disciplined, but they should have sufficient arms and ammunition to maintain a status of independence from anyone who might attempt to abuse them, which includes their own government. George Washington. Fantastic quote. Look it up. I don't know where these fat politicians making $300,000 a year doing their free time or for fun. But this is what I do in my free time for fun. Now, those of you who are pro-gun and you're going to vote for Romney because you want to keep our gun rights, and those of you that are anti-gun and are going to vote for Obama because everyone knows if Obama gets reelected, there's going to be another gun ban in effect. Now, will be most likely a ban like Bill Clinton's, which was proven not to work. It didn't do a damn thing except drive the prices of guns up. But if you want to make a change, and preferably the people who are pro-gun, go to your local elections, your local government, your mayors, your county commissioners, Congress, your senators. Those are the people who you need to put in office to get done what you want. The President of the United States is a puppet. They can screw shit up. They can get some things passed. But if you put the right people in the Senate and the House of Representatives, you're going to protect yourself. Also, NRA. I love the NRA and I hate the NRA. I have a yearly subscription. It's, whatever. $100, $50, whatever. I don't even remember. But then they'll mail me $150 worth of, flyers and shit back to me. But they are the only people, or one of the few people, that are still fighting for your rights. They have lawyers. They have individuals that care about our rights. And here's the thing. You want to try to outlaw one thing or whatever. That's fine. But at what point do you stop? Because once they take away one thing, then you can make an excuse or an argument to take away all of it. And you can even ask our brethren across the pond. They didn't even know their firearms were taken until it was too late. And that's exactly what would happen in this country. The bills would be passed and everything would be done and you'd wake up and it'd be too late. And all you good old boys sitting on your porch, rubbing your bellies saying, yeah, good luck, let them come try to take it. I'll show them what they gonna get. Yeah, well, you sit there, keep rubbing your fat ass belly telling us that. And you're part of the problem. If you take this seriously, the stuff in front of you, and it means something to you, get off your ass and do something. Write somebody, make a phone call, can be that minute. But sitting there saying, they ain't ever going to take my guns away from me without a fight, son. Get real, you stupid ass. You're part of the reason why people, probably are anti-gun. If you like the rights we have, and you agree with what our founding fathers have done, help maintain it. You guys take it easy. Freedom out.